In this way, Mongol units could easily separate and rejoin while on the move. Thus far, what has been discussed pertains to the general battle plan and army structure employed by the Mongols in a pitched battle. However, upon closer examination of the overall plan, a series of strategies consisting of several specific tactics emerged. One of these tactics, which the Mongols successfully applied in many battles, was the feigned retreat tactic. This tactic was an ancient steppe warfare strategy also used by the Nokrats Turks and other nomadic warrior communities. This tactic was sometimes applied by a small part of the army, and sometimes the entire army. The Mongol units forming the vanguard of the army would launch a sudden attack and then retreat in panic. The aim of this tactic was not the attack itself, but to lure the enemy army toward the location where the main Mongol army was located and disrupt their formations. Once the retreat was completed, an attack would be initiated where the enemy units would be met by Mongol archers and heavy cavalry. During pursuit, the enemy units, weakened and disarrayed by Mongol archers, found it nearly impossible to escape the attack. The objective of this tactic was to draw the enemy army to a section of the terrain favorable for Mongol attacks. In this way, Mongols could more easily apply maneuver-based tactics. However, the feigned retreat tactic, while masterfully executed by the Mongols, was a dangerous strategy. If not well executed, there was a risk of turning into a major defeat. One of the battles where the Mongols used this tactic was the Battle of the Kalka River in 1223. Subutai, the Mongol general, had retreated in front of the pursuing Kipchak and Russian allied army for a full 9 days. On the 9th day, near Kalkaniai, he noticed the disorder in the enemy's formation and launched a counterattack. Facing enemy forces devoid of battle organization, he secured a decisive victory. However, in some cases, enemy forces would cease following the vanguard and remain in their positions. In such situations, the Mongols would surround the enemy army and unleash a hail of arrows upon them. The arrows were generally shot from a distance and randomly. Archers often stayed beyond the lethal range of 40 to 50 meters where the composite bow had its deadly effect. The purpose of this attack was not necessarily to kill the enemy but to create chaos and confusion among them. The Mongols would give the impression that the enemy was overlooked in the continuous narrowing siege wall, creating a corridor. After this, the only thing left to do was to eliminate those attempting to flee from the enemy's abandoned war formation. The Mongols had defeated the Hungarians in the Battle of Mohi in 1241 using this strategy. Compared to contemporary armies, the Mongol army possessed immense mobility. Additionally, they combined this advantage with warfare tactics that minimized prolonged close contact with the enemy. One of the tactics at the forefront was the half-cross tactic, allowing the Mongols to continuously attack and withdraw from the enemy army. To execute this tactic, the Mongols would separate their archers from their carts and start moving toward the enemy units. The goal here was to inflict maximum damage on the enemy, contrary to the siege tactic, and take advantage of the penetrating power of the composite bow. The Mongols had to approach the enemy units at a distance of 40 to 50 meters during the attack. As they advanced, they would shower the enemy ranks with arrows and then start retreating. During the retreat, if they turned around and continued to add to the enemy ranks, they would keep mingling with the enemy lines. Later, the second wave waiting behind would take their place, and this process would be continuously repeated in waves of attacks. This way, the unit that executed the first wave had the opportunity to rest until it was their turn again. Besides these tactics, the Mongols also benefited from large-scale boxes and surprise attacks by rapidly emerging armies. During campaigns, they would split into different branches, covering hundreds of kilometers in maneuvers and then reunite. Additionally, they were highly successful in employing psychological warfare tactics. During a war against the Naiman tribe, Genghis Khan ordered each of his soldiers to make at least 5 fires to make his army appear larger. They would also carry war captives with them to make their army seem larger and use them as living shields when necessary. Their massacres upon capturing a city would lead to other cities in the region surrendering spontaneously. A few panicked refugees abandoning the city would contribute to this terror policy by recounting the Mongols' atrocities in the cities they sought refuge in. Shortly after, entry and exit to the building were prohibited. As a result of searches, a rifle hidden among several boxes on the 6th floor of the building was found around 10:22. Bay was right. The weapon had been fired from the Texas School Book Depository. However, Bay's intuitions did not contribute much to capturing the assassin. The vehicle carrying the aftermath of the assassination quickly headed to different makeshift memorial hospital in the vicinity. Kennedy had died during the assassination. His death was officially announced half an hour after the incident, around 1 p.m. Governor Connolly, despite being seriously injured, was alive and would recover after some time. However, before the day was over, Officer Tippett, located near the assassination site, was announced to be killed in an armed attack. Within an hour, 24-year-old Lee Harvey Oswald was arrested as the murder suspect. Testimonies and his presence in the Texas School Book Depository during the day made Oswald the prime suspect in Kennedy's assassination. Oswald was a former Navy serviceman who, after a serious military career, sought asylum in the Soviet Union, identifying himself as a communist. After living in the Soviet Union for many years, he returned and settled in Dallas. He had a profile suitable for an assassin. However, the American Secret Service had neither enough evidence nor time for the meticulous investigation needed to shed light on the assassination. 2 days later, Oswald was shot and killed by Jack Ruby, a local nightclub owner, while a live broadcast was being made in the basement of the Dallas police station. Ruby was arrested for the crime of joyfully killing Oswald. However, while waiting for a new trial to be held in 1967, Ruby died. The official statement indicated that Ruby died of cancer. Evidence related to the assassination was quickly disappearing. However, following President Kennedy's assassination, Vice President Lyndon Johnson became America's 36th president. The commissions he established concluded that the assassination was carried out solely by Lee Harvey Oswald, with no conspiracy involved. According to the report, there was no conspiracy. However, a large part of the American public remained unconvinced by these results. According to a 2014 survey, 80% of Americans still believe that Kennedy was killed as a result of a conspiracy. The Kennedy assassination became one of the most striking events in recent American history. Numerous conspiracy theories about the assassination emerged in a very short period. The district attorney claimed that President Kennedy was killed as a result of an operation conducted jointly by the Pentagon, FBI, and secret operations units. However, he had to release each of the suspects he had detained due to insufficient evidence. According to reports prepared by the Soviet Union's intelligence service KGB, Vice President Lyndon Johnson was personally the mastermind behind the assassination. Kansu's bank accounts were examined under 2 separate investigations before the assassination. The first of these investigations was carried out by a Senate committee conducting a congressional inquiry, alleging that Kansu had accepted bribes. One of the investigations was related to a tip provided by an important magazine in the United States, Life magazine. Life magazine had published a series of articles questioning how Kansu had accumulated such a significant fortune. When Kansu was killed, these investigations were halted, and the allegations were covered up. There were other reasons for dispelling suspicions regarding the Kennedy assassination. Kansu had ordered the Lincoln car in which he was shot to be cleaned while it was still parked at the hospital. This way, evidence in the back seat of the car was destroyed before any examination took place. According to National Archive documents related to the incident released in 2017, Many external intelligence agencies had received information about Kansu's impending assassination. However, no attempts were made to prevent this information. Yes, various theories and claims have been put forward regarding the Kennedy assassination. Dozens of conspiracy theories have been proposed, involving individuals and organizations such as Johnson, Israel's Mossad intelligence agency, the FBI, CIA, the U.S. military, Cuban President Fidel Castro, and various other global entities. However, most of these theories have not gone beyond the level of allegations and lack concrete evidence. The Kennedy assassination has been the focal point of speculation and debate throughout history, but the facts behind the event have still not been fully elucidated. Therefore, the Kennedy assassination continues to remain one of the greatest mysteries and controversial events in the history of the United States.